Why did you say my name like that this morning? I got scared. I went off really Well, I had to get up this morning. I didn't have time to talk to anyone, so everyone's getting it. I'm in geometry now. You already are in geometry. No, it's this. Oh, geometry.
Rachel.
No. No, it's a pretty dress.
Yeah.
Why do you
It's cute.
All right. Real quick, I'm gonna ask for book numbers and whatnot. So I'm gonna do a quick book check. We talked about yesterday. Make sure you have your textbook out. If you don't have it, that's what's that. Can't check it if it's not yours.
Lord, can I go to the bathroom?
Oh, you can go to the bathroom?
Yeah, I really do.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'll be back.
If you come back with a book, I'm going to question you.
Well, if I can go to the bathroom.
Craps out of the book, I'll do something. Alright. Alright, let's see here. Okay, I'm just going to kind of call you up one at a time. I just want to know your number. So it's pretty straightforward. So Luke, you're up. Bring it up here real quick. Then Bretta, then Sam. Just come up. All I need to see is the book number. Okay, Bailey, you're up. Cassidy, Trish, Rachel. Good. Trevor, Michaela, Sadie's in the restroom. So McKenna. Thank you. You conveniently crack a book. Sadie, you're up, by the way.
Oh, my book's
Oh, it's over there. Right down over the works. Just bring it up here. Whenever you can. Rayleigh, Lucy, Paige. You. You. Trinity, sorry, Trinity forgot. Rachel, Hannah, Ben, James. Did I forget anyone? All right. Do you have your book? Okay. All right. Okay, all right. Let's go through a couple examples here today of what your homework's going to look like. You are going to get homework today. It'll be due this Friday because I know there's basketball games and whatnot today. Tomorrow's kind of a shortened period. But if I notice people aren't working on it, I'm going to make it do Thursday. That's how it works. So, all right. Slope of parallel lines and perpendicular lines. What we need to talk about today are these two postulates we introed yesterday. I think the video will be online hopefully the next 10 minutes or so. I think it's supposed to be right now. All right. But what we're going to be doing today, we're going to be graphing lines, finding the slope of lines, and then finding a certain line that fits a certain stipulation. So let's start with the first one, right? The first couple homework problems are going to give you a picture, something like this. Right, and that is what? 1, 2, and this spot is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 6, 1. Alright, so they're going to give you a picture, and it's almost identical to this, where they actually label the picture, and they're going to ask, what is the slope? That's it. Well, we know what type of slope it is. What type is it? Negative, going down. Right? So it's a negative slope. But we need to figure out what the number actually is. So we know what the type is, which is good because that's one of the questions. But then what the actual digit is this the formula I have to use. This is how we find the slope. You subtract the y numbers, subtract the x numbers. Yes. Always on top. Because it stands for rise or run. So the y numbers stand for rise. That's going up and down. Yep, that's a good question. Y's have to be on top. Okay, so when we subtract them, which numbers up here are my y numbers? 2, 1, the second numbers, right? Because they always go alphabetical order. X, Y, X, Y. So we're subtracting these numbers. I usually go top minus bottom, so I'm going to go the 2 minus the 1. So 2 minus 1. So that's the y numbers being subtracted. Then the top minus the bottom, so 1 minus 6. Go in the same order, so whatever coordinate you pick first, stick with that one. Okay, so 2 minus 1 is 1. 1 minus 6 is negative 5, and that makes sense for what type of slope we said was going to be going down. Okay? All right. Do you think you can handle if I give you 2 or 3 of those? Okay, so it'll be one of the rare cases. Now, there's going to be a couple problems that I'm going to give you. Same exact kind of thing, find the slope, right? You're going to have to draw those things. So they're going to give you the coordinates. So they'll give you these off to the side, and you'll have to draw them on a graph and then find the slope after that. Okay, so those will be the other types. I think they're pretty straightforward. But those are like the majority of your homework because that's what we spend the majority talking about. So, okay? I think they're easy. I will give you graph paper, so you have enough graphs for every single problem that you need to graph. There's only selecting ones you have to draw. Okay. Questions on the first couple types? I think they're pretty straightforward. We've done those a lot in the last 3-4 days here, so hopefully that makes sense to you. But now, talking about these postulates, right, and how we can use these to do the next couple of problems. Postulate 3.2 said that when you have parallel lines, the slopes are the exact same number, whatever the slope is. So like this is a slope number. So for lines to be parallel, this number has to be the same, right? So the slopes have to look the same, the lines. Then postulate 3.3 said that their slopes, if they're going to be, if lines are perpendicular to each other, not parallel but perpendicular, their slopes are different. And what we talked about yesterday was this idea of like what this slope number has to be for lines to be perpendicular. That was 3.3. We talked about yesterday that it was called an opposite reciprocal. That was one of our key words we talked about in class. The goal today is to really cover how these two postulates work, like what a homework problem can look like and what you need to do with it. Okay, but that was the big key term for this 3.3. Goal today, right now, is to go through maybe one example of each type, each postulate there, so you know kind of what the homework problem is, so you know what I'm talking about, like what opposite reciprocal actually means. Okay, questions, comments about what we're going to do for the next 2 problems? We need more, we'll do more. All right, let's start with the first one. We'll start with postulate 3.2. Alright, so here's the goal. We're going to draw a line passing through, let's go with 0, 8, call that letter A, and is parallel to line CD, line CD, where C negative 3, 4, and D is 7, negative 9. Okay, so the goal is to draw lines, specific lines. So we have to find a certain coordinates. Now we're going through A, which is 0, 8. So here's 0 right and left, up 8. So right here, there's letter A. And we're going to be parallel to the line going from C to D. And C is negative 3, 4, and 7, negative 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, down. There's D, here's C, and here's the line. Okay. All right. What does it mean to be parallel now? What does that mean? What does parallel mean? Definition that we have. What does parallel mean? Same slope? That was number 1. That was just the property, right? That was 3, 2. What else? That is right. So my line has to have the same slope as that green line. But what else? What does parallel also mean? What does parallel mean?
Question. Why is this awkward?
No one's talking. Ask me a question.
It's not awkward.
I think it's Hey, there we go. There's the definition. Lines that never touch. So if I need a parallel line through CD, that's the type of line I need. It's got to be parallel to the other one, so that means it can't touch the other one. The only way that these can't touch, they have the same slope, and they have to be on the same plane, right? And so that way that it will actually make them equally spaced. So the idea is for this to work, and kind of like the definitions we talked about, they have to have the same slope so that you can draw that. I need to actually find the slope of this line right here. Once I find the slope, then I can actually draw. I can use that fraction to actually draw where the other line is going. And I'm going to go off of A, whatever that slope number is. So we need to find the slope of CD. So I'm going to write CD here. So here's C. What is that? Negative 3, 4. D is 7, negative 9. So I'm going to find the slope of that line first. So that's the slope number. Again, we have to subtract the x and y's. Y's go on the top to find the slope. So it's 4 minus the negative 9. Then the x number's on the bottom, negative 3 minus the 7. That's your slope formula, so I can actually see what the fraction is. 4 minus negative, these actually turn out to be a positive because they cancel each other out, so that is 12. Actually, 13. 13. All right, and then negative 3 minus 7 is negative 10. So this means on what this slope is actually telling me is a negative slope. So it's going down to the right, which makes sense. So it's going down 13 over 10. That's what it's doing. Well, that's what I can do here. I can go down 13 and over 10 from the letter A, and that will help me find the next dot, the next coordinate, and so that I can actually draw it. Okay, and so that's one of the things. I have to find a point. Then I can actually draw the line. But this is the slope. Just knowing that it's negative tells me it's going down to the right. Okay, so down 13. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and then 10 to the right. Here's letter B. And again, how I know that, what slope always stands for rise or grown. So I'm dropping 13 and running 10. So it's going down. And here's my. Okay. Questions, comments about the first type of problem that we're going to, or not the first types, but the second type of homework problem you're going to have. We're going to ask you to draw the original, so draw the stuff in that, and make sure that you're drawing a line that's passing through the letter A. And you can call that the next point that you find any other letter of the alphabet that you want. I just call it letter B because it's kind of so again, to do this problem, you have to realize what 3-2 said. For parallel lines, the slope had to be the same. It had to be the same 13 over negative 10. All right. Questions about that problem? That was, about postulate 3-2. Okay. We only got 2 more problems. Next one, same structure, same as this one. I'm just going to make a subtle difference. One word difference. Perpendicular. Okay, so now I want to be perpendicular to the line CD. Okay, so now the line will be different. So I'm going to go back to this original picture. So instead of parallel, now I need perpendicular. So here's how it works. Same structure, I found the slope of CD. We just found it was 13 over negative 10. For it to be perpendicular, this is where we have to use an opposite reciprocal. And opposite reciprocal means I take the slope, I flip it over, because that's what a reciprocal is, and then I do the opposite, which is the opposite sign. So the slope for me, if I flip this over, will be 10 over 13, and I'll turn it positive. This is the slope for my perpendicular line. So it's actually going up, because it's positive. So from here, I can rise 10, run 13. Well, if I rise 10 from here, I'll be up at 18, somewhere way up here, so 18. And if I run 13 that way, I'll be at 13, way over here. So that number is way back up. And how I know where that was going to be, I was already at 8. So I had to rise 10 more and run 13 now. And then what that'll do to make this perpendicular, when I draw that line like this, like that, something accurate, it's going to make a perfect 90-degree angle. That's the idea. Question?
You can go for the paper, can you go down 10?
You could, yep. The numbers they're going to give you are really small, so you won't have to worry about it. They'll be like within a couple spots from where you need to go. I just picked crazy numbers, so you have to see it. Okay, questions about perpendicular. That was the opposite reciprocal. You had to flip the slope and change the sign. Okay, perpendicular means they have to meet at 90s, not parallel. So they do have to cross. Flip the sign so it goes the opposite direction. If the signs were the same, they'd be like going the same, like they'd be both going down, so it won't meet at 90. It'll make some weird angle with each other, not perfectly 90. Just switching the sign actually makes it, instead of going negative, it goes positive, so it actually snaps it to 90 automatically. Now you're just trying to figure out where that number goes. Okay. These are good questions. Any other questions about that problem? Again, the goal is to find like the coordinate, and like what Rayleigh was asking, like if you're off the graph, you're not going to have to worry about that. Your numbers are really small. Like mine, I picked 13s and 10s, but your slopes will be like 2 over 3. They'll be really small numbers. You're not going to go that far. Let's find the next coordinate. Okay. Any other questions? Okay. Last problem of the day. Last problem. Okay. It's not with parallel or perpendicular. It's just a simple one, where they ask for you to draw one simple line, and it doesn't have to do with parallel or perpendicular. So draw a line passing through, let's go passing through point P, which is, let's say this is 2, -5, with slope -4. So this is the third or fourth type of question they're going to ask you, which if you don't know how to start, this probably could be a little weird. The goal is to draw a line. That's what you should be thinking. So I got to draw something. I need to pass through point P, which is 2, 5. So 2 negative, I should say. So 2 over, -5 down. All right. So here's point P, and my slope. So my slope number is a -4. Now, what is that as a fraction? It's negative 4 over 1. So this is my rise and run. You can always put whole numbers over 1. So the slope is actually dropping for it's negative, right? It's negative slope. So it's dropping 4, running 1. I always go to the right. So drop 4 from here, and then run 1. So this is where the next coordinate will be. I'll call that Q. So dropping 4, running 1. Then I can draw the line. Okay, that's all they want you to do. You're just drawing the one simple line. You have to use the coordinate they give you, and you have to know how the slope works. So if the slope is positive slope, that means you're going up and to the right. If it's negative, you're going down to the right. If it's a 0, you're horizontal. If it's undefined, it's up and down. Vertical. Okay. Questions, comments about any of the, what? How many have we done? 4 problems now? 4 or 5? Okay, homework today. Here we go. Okay, again, it's due Friday. As long as people are actually working on it and actually trying. And those people aren't working on it, it'll be due Thursday instead. Alright, and I'll give you graph paper, because you will need graph paper for this. Alright, homework is on page 193. Okay, the first ones, 14 through 17. Those problems, the graph's already drawn. All you have to do is find slope. It's like the first ones we did today. You look at the picture, do this little subtraction, tell me what type and what the number is for slope. The next few you're going to actually have to graph. So 18 through 20, 22, 24. These problems you're actually graphing and you're finding slope and all that good stuff. 28 through 32, these are the evens. You're still graphing some of those. And the last one is 35 through 37. And I'll give you graph paper here so you have enough graphs to actually graph. The only ones you don't have to graph are the first 3. Everything else you do have to draw. You can actually see where it's going and all that good stuff. Alright, graph paper, here we go. You can staple this paper to notebook paper if you're going to use notebook paper. Some people can do it all on here. I don't recommend that. So there you go. looks like you just get it in by just getting into like directing it up. You just throw it to the wing. The wing goes to the top of the air and fly. It's not gonna remember. No, it's not like a set play like 5 is or black.
What fun are we talking about? You don't know 5?
No. That's not. See, we've done this the last 2 years. 5 hasn't changed.
She didn't know any of the plays last year.
Oh my goodness.
She's just there to play basketball.
Don't like coach your kids say that.
He knows I don't know the plays. Okay.
No, 5 is a joke. You can't do it.
Are you guys seriously still fighting over that?
Because 14 through 17 are different. I always break them up by the section.
Oh, okay.
I know. I could just put, but I always put like when they're in like different sections. I always look up to like okay, these 3 are like the same type. These are the next type. I know. Everyone always questions me on that. I always do it. I break it up by sections. Like you can probably look at the board and probably have the same. Because they want you to draw the coordinates and untitled. That's what I want you to do. Yeah, because the only ones you don't draw are the first 3 or 4. 14 through 17. Yeah, I do want you to draw this. I want you to like draw everything except for the first 3. You have to draw. It's 18, 19, 20, 22, 24, 28, 30, 32, 35, 36. Hey, remember, you draw every problem except for those first 3, 14 through 17. The first 4. Say again? Yeah. I know you're fine. Hey, do you want to go through play fighter? You want me to put those little magnets on the board? Or you want me to?
I still remember getting
Oh. Yeah.
You just want to go okay, which one do you want? All you do, this girl is big, will go send up. All this girl's going to do is go this way so we can look for her. That's looking. Okay, this is where the interesting is. So this is like, you can look here. Don't, so like that's the first thing. Next, this girl, this other small, she's kind of going this way. So the small's first one is okay. Small's going pulse it. So now we're going all over here. Okay. The big, once they set the screen, this other big's now up here, right? This big is going to come up and set her a screen. So when she sets the screen, she's getting a screen set. This big is just rolls.
I get it.
I'm not worried. You're not gonna remember that?
Having attention to Jamie from Athletico.
All right, hey, just remember, homework's due Friday. So make sure that you're kind of working on it throughout the week. As we get going here, probably tomorrow we're going to move it on. Trina and Ryan, make sure you bring in your books tomorrow and double check those.
Wait, you still do get the points? Had me worried for nothing.
I know it is.
Ward likes doing that.
I didn't. I just put the ticker